Okay, so this is a response to a struggling cold emailer. I get like 3 of you guys at least a week with a similar message to this. So I'm going to read you what he sent me. I'm not going to give you his name, obviously. Then I'm going to give you my response. So, hey, Ori, I've been following you for a while now and appreciate your honesty about cold email and your videos. You make a lot more sense than any of the other lead gen gurus out there and actually have an interesting personality. Green. Okay. Just a couple of months ago, I started a cold email agency and have been struggling a lot. And I was just wondering, what would your advice be to succeed in 2024? So obviously you guys know that you can probably imagine that if you spend 10 minutes in my DMs, you would unfollow half of your gurus. So there's a lot that's going on behind the scenes, but there's a lot of people that are really struggling. So I don't want to just give gloom and doom. Let me tell you what we actually did about it, and how we benefited from it. So first thing you want to do with cold email is either combine it with other services or just sell something else. So it's like, it would be like me asking like, hey, should I start a restaurant or should I start like a dumpster business? And I'm like, you can. It's a lot harder than it used to be. And there's other things that you can do. But in combination with other services, cold email can work really well. So cold email plus ads plus cold DMs, really good. Really, really good. But there's also just other things that are easier to sell. Like cold DMs is really fun and really easy to sell. Also, but a lot of that is my network and that I get deals because I can't just recommend it to like somebody who's starting fresh, but like combine it or do something else. Like there's a ton of good vectors. Cold email is much harder than it used to be. The other thing that you have to understand is financial incentives. So what do I mean? Everybody wants to give you good advice until it comes to their wallet. So if I have equity in a company that does cold email, or I have a SaaS or this, my advice is going to be pretty biased. And there's a lot more money in creating more cold emailers that are pretty shitty versus creating like 1 or 2 really amazing cold emailers that are good enough to compete with me. So the incentives are always going to be aligned against you. That's just the way the world works. People are like, why don't you call people out? I'm like, there's always another guy like this. Just follow. The only incentives you need to understand in business are financial incentives. The purpose of content is not to give you good information. It's to close more deals and get affiliate money. So like people will script cold email deliverability solved and all the advice is bad. I know because a lot of these guys are my friends. Like I just understand the game. Okay. And then, so always have 2 plan Bs and a plan C. So this is something that I think if it's your first business, you don't understand it. But like I've had so many issues. Like anyone who's made money has had so many setbacks. So like we lost our business because of COVID, 7-figure hospitality based business, right? The next day I was like, okay, let me get a job at Amazon so I can keep buying Bitcoin. I'll figure something out. But I found another bar that was able, because I'm like, listen, I can't pay like this 10K in rent. Like I found another bar that was able to let me teach my students, and I would hire an instructor and I would pay them hourly. So I would charge the student $200 and I would give the instructor $100 and I would keep the other $100. I made like 30,000 this way. And I was working at Amazon and I was buying Bitcoin and I was on Money Twitter 5 hours a day trying to figure out what I could do next. And then I got into remote sales. But even when I was doing remote sales, I took 2 offers and I had a backup remote job and I saved all my vacation time from Amazon. So I had a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. That's just how it is as an entrepreneur. You can't let the cash flow go down. You always have to figure out, you have to end every month better than you started it. Maybe Bitcoin goes up, maybe Bitcoin goes down, maybe the NASDAQ goes up. You can't control that. But the things that you can control, every month must be like this. No matter what, you must figure it out. You must. This is business. This is where you see what you're made out of. And then the last thing I want to tell you is there are good people out there. Like there are good people out there. Don't be discouraged. Yes, there are liars. Yes, there are scammers, but you will find people that will help you. So that's my 2 cents.